Oh, mate, great timing. Hi. My name is Jamie, and I've got to do one thing today, which is to ask you, what's behind the door? It's pretty hard to tell from here, right? Yeah, well, you're about to join the government housing team as a maintenance subby. Welcome. Affordable housing is right. Everyone should have it. And opening doors is what it's all about. So, let's talk about how you're preparing yourself in the best possible way for what you're going to see on the other side of this door. So you think you're ready? You've got your ticket, you got your permits, you got your work order, yep. You got your shiny new ID, you got your steel cap boots, and you got your toolkit with you, so you are raring to go, right? Let's just take 5 minutes, shall we? Everyone involved in this job, especially Spotless, want you to get home safely to your own front door. And to make sure that happens, we need you to be prepared for whatever might confront you behind this one. Most of the tenants are great, but let's take my mate Tim, for instance. He's not working this week because the last door he opened had a cistern with a needle behind it. So when he reached behind the toilet, and, well, he wasn't wearing his thick protective gloves like he should have been, and now he's pretty worried. He's got 3 kids, and he's sitting at home waiting for results on hepatitis and HIV. Just one small thing, his PPE just wasn't adequate for the tasks associated with the job at hand. Juan walked into a domestic violence situation. Now, he could hear the yelling before he knocked on the door, but he'd been there twice before, and there was pressure to get the job done. Time pressure should never get in the way of safety. Juan was new. Maybe he didn't understand that his boss didn't want him to put himself at risk just because there was, pressure on and they were under the pump to get the job done. He was in there 2 seconds before the dad and the son just started punching on and yelling at him. Meanwhile, the wife is calling him on to come in further and fix the stove. Juan was terrified. He just wanted to get out of there. He almost left his tools behind. Don't go in if you can hear the yelling before you reach the door. And don't stay if it starts. And report it to Spotless so government housing can update the records and discuss appropriate controls. Next time, Spotless will make sure a second person is with you and put new controls in place to ensure that the job can get done safely. Now, some of my mates will laugh at me when I say that I'll leave a job site if I see drugs happening, but I do. I've got a young family, young kids and a mortgage. I don't want to take the risk, and Spotless doesn't want me to take it either. It doesn't want any of you taking that risk. You have to remember, some drugs make people crazy, and then they turn violent. You don't want to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, so use your head. And if you see a few guys hanging around doing something, maybe, sometimes, the better time is next time. Now, this is a bit of a mixed bag, but it's about the tenant becoming visibly distressed after you go in. Sometimes you have to make the safe call, the call to leave. We've had cases where it becomes clear that the person behind the door has some problems. They might be unwell mentally. Piero, one of our plumbers, is still pretty shaken up about a case where the tenant was speaking to several people when it was only him in the room. When the tenant started to get angry with the invisible people, Piero realized it might be safer to leave and return with the assistance of another person at another time. We had a case where a woman of a certain culture, where women shouldn't be alone with men without their husband, started crying and became very upset when she discovered one of our men working in the house when she got home. Now, there was a language barrier, but Sam, our guy, figured out that it might have something to do with him being there, so packed up and got out. Better safe than sorry. And when he reported it back to Spotless, it was all worked out. Now, we've all heard the one about the dog that barks and the one that bites. Now, if you come across a dog that's dangerous, make sure you report it to Spotless so that the other subbies can be forewarned. Always ask a tenant to secure their pet before entering the premises, regardless of how nice it might initially appear. Kids are another proposition. What's important is that you keep yourself clear of any compromising situations and make sure that the kids are kept safely away from the workspace. Guys, it is not all right for parents to wander off down the shops and leave the kids with you. Anyway, that's enough talking for one day. What's important for you to take away from these stories is that even if you've done a take 5, before you open the door, there's still a good chance you'll have to do one when you're on the inside. Conditions are just not always what you expect them to be. Sometimes, the safest thing for you to do is to tell your tenant, I have to call my boss, take yourself and your kit out to the vehicle. Spotless want to know if conditions have changed. Hi, I'm Jamie. I'm here to come and fix the taps. Oh, that was easy, nothing tricky there. Listen, these stories aren't just for your mates. These are to encourage you to go behind that door with your eyes open. And if you see problems, let Spotless know. That way, they can measure how much this is happening. They can make decisions on what controls can make it safer for you to do your job and to keep you and your team safe in the future. At the end of the day, Spotless want you to get home safely to your front door.